Hello, and welcome back to YouTube Unsolved. Today, we're going to be covering the times when simply filming a YouTube video took horrible turns into the worst possible scenarios. These are the times when YouTubers inadvertently filmed their own demise. It's quite easy as a passive YouTube viewer to overlook what just might go into making a video, as you only see the final result. In some instances, like what we're about to show, these things go to the level of costing people their lives just in the effort of trying to receive views or possibly to go viral. It's important to note that as much as many of these are simply fluke accidents, that a major key factor still lies in the reality of the constant urge to need to one-up yourself in your obtainment of fame or stardom on the internet, overlooking the fact of how easy it may seem to set up a camera and film yourself doing something never before seen, as it is easy for everything to be taken away. Mona Lisa and Fam was a YouTube channel that existed that did all kinds of real-life videos. It was a duo YouTube channel run by both Pedro Ruiz and Mona Lisa Perez, but on June 26, 2018, they would attempt something which would end up going down in history as one of the worst things to ever take place and be filmed on a YouTube video. They planned to make a viral video by doing a stunt that would involve holding a hardcover book and testing whether or not a .50 caliber Desert Eagle could shoot through it. The only twist would be that Pedro Ruiz would decide to hold the book up to his chest while his wife would shoot the gun, essentially standing only 1 foot away. Of course, a single book was not enough to stop a .50 caliber bullet, so it pierced straight through it without any hesitation. What was caught on film next was Pedro falling over, and immediately a 911 call from Mona Lisa, which should speak for itself.
But I have confidence that my girlfriend will hit the book and not me. Let's do it.
Because of this obvious negligence, the authorities were quick to land their scrutiny on Mona Lisa herself, as it should have been more apparent that it may not have been a good idea to hold a very powerful pistol only 1 foot away from someone, with only a book in the way. But on December 19, 2017, she was sentenced to 6 months in prison. Danish YouTuber Albert Dyrland was substantially popular, amassing over 100,000 subscribers across 2 different channels. But in July of 2021, something would happen which would take the entire YouTube community by storm. He was climbing the side of a mountain, more particularly Mount Cicada, in Val Gardena, Italy. This video was purportedly supposed to be for a whole nother unrelated topic, but it was filmed in a vlog-type fashion, where he strapped a GoPro to his body while climbing up a nearly vertical rock face. However, at some point during the ascent, he fell off the cliff after losing some form of leverage and collapsed to nearly 650 feet, all the way to the ground. His camera was later found, only for this footage to then be released. The 22-year-old YouTuber was up and coming, and had clearly shown his potential at one day becoming amongst one of the biggest stars on the platform, all for it to be ended so suddenly, because of a single mistake. Albert was alone at the time, but rescue helicopters did attempt to find him, only to then pronounce him dead at the scene. All too often, the entire genre of pranks on YouTube have had their fair share of unfortunate occurrences. And as the entire topic has been oversaturated with mundane, staged events and videos, it's hard to tell just where the line should be drawn. But on the 5th of February 2021, it was made quite clear. A fairly obscure YouTuber going by the name Timothy Wilkes decided to pull a prank in a parking lot in Nashville. The goal of this prank was to stage a live robbery to a group of individuals walking down the street. The YouTuber and their friend approached the group with multiple knives. It was at this moment where it was caught on camera, the group retaliating, particularly one person. Timothy Wilkes was shot immediately by 23-year-old David Starnes, who claimed he was unaware that it was a prank. The strangest thing about it is the fact how no channel has ever really been identified to officially belong to the 20-year-old who died on that day. Police were investigating the scene, only to find no evidence of there being any camera footage, the only footage there being of the entire event being on CCTV camera. However, regardless of what the motive was, or for what video purpose, it goes to show just how easily things can turn against you, and just how quickly, in that case, an entire life can be lost. The shooter in the situation was never charged, as the death was deemed self-defense. There is a whole world beyond the westernized YouTube that we have all come to know. So for this bonus segment, I would like to spotlight a particular event that took place far off in the east of China back in 2017. An individual going by the name Wu Yongning was slowly becoming a viral sensation in China's own version of YouTube, Weibo, a form of combination of Facebook and TikTok that Wu Yongning was able to gather millions of followers on by doing this. Wu Yongning was a professional at climbing extremely tall structures and buildings and presenting himself at the very top of them, very often performing tasks and also stunts which would prove to be extremely daring and, later on, sadly, tragic. The events that would lead up to the horrible situation were due to the rising influence and demand of such insane stunts being performed, all live on camera, as Wu often branded himself as China's first rooftopper. Rooftopping, an action of climbing to the top of very tall buildings, and often doing things such as jumping from one side to another, leaning on edges, or even hanging off, was something that was most likely not normal in that area. So of course, because of the rising fame of Wu Yongning, brands began to approach him with multiple large sums of money just in an effort for self-promotion. On November 8, 2017, he prepared for his most daring challenge yet, rooftopping the Heiyuan Hua Center in Changsha. But unlike his previous stunts, this particular challenge proved deadly. Doing one of his usual pull-up stunts, where he filmed himself, it started to become clear that something was going wrong. Pull-ups are a very strenuous activity, especially after multiple are done in one given time, and due to the high altitude of this building, the cold temperatures would have not proven to be that much of a help. Wu suddenly found it difficult to get himself back up on the building while hanging off. After 15 seconds, of course, no longer having the strength to be able to pull himself onto the building, he unfortunately lost his grip due to sheer exhaustion, falling 62 stories to the ground. The event itself was initially hidden behind a lot of obscurity. The fall was only made public after his fans began to notice that he was gone, and later on, of course, due to a sponsorship which would have been valued at about $15,000, most of the money was ordered to be paid to the mother of Wu Yongning in compensation. However, it is chilling to see the reality of the situation set in, and just what might have been going through the mind of Wu as he hung from the building, realizing that his strength had run out. These, of course, are only some of the tragic events that have happened across multiple social media sites, but primarily YouTube, and has really demonstrated just how easy it is for things to go wrong, not only in the act of simply doing things that are even daring for the sake of a camera, but even just normal activities. The internet is, of course, a place that has pushed people to do things that are rather unfortunate. Of course, nonetheless, whether you are simply taking a dare or starting YouTube channels, with every investment, there always is risk. Thanks for watching YouTube Unsolved.